All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and blessings and citations to the hopeful elect, the Bayath Dawadah, the house of David. All right, so we just going to go right into it. It's the brother Malak coming back at you with this truth. So we just going to go right into it, all right? Let's get right to it, okay? And I like to bring this out. This is one of my favorite things to bring out, right? So this is the UN 2030 agenda, right? Which is the UN is the United Nations. You see, it says, let's get right to it. It says 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. It says promote peaceful societies and inclusive institutions for sustainable development. On only those with the RFID chip, which we always speak about, which is the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, and an AI digital ID and a digital ID passport with biometrics data, right, on a blockchain, which is a blockchain technology, which everything is going to be stored onto that technology. Henceforth, why you got AI data centers or data centers. Okay? You see? For everything to be tracked, traced, and controlled. For every move that you make is always stored on data. All right? It says data on a blockchain can be a part of a peaceful society. Social credits will be used to get the population to obey the New World Order and to punish unwanted behavior, those who do not comply, right? It's all about compliance. You see, it says will be imprisoned or have all benefits on a blockchain turned off. Okay, which is your CBDC, central bank digital currencies. All right, your how can I say your credit score, your carbon footprint, everything of that nature. All right, so it says 17. It says partnership for the goals. It says strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize global partnership for sustainability. In order to implement all 17 SDGs sustainable development goals and maintain global partnerships for the goals, a number of key technologies need to be further pushed on societies such as the CBDC, central bank digital currency, blockchain technology, which stores everything and track, trace, and control, right? CRISPR gene editing, transhumanism, all right? You see? Okay, AI monitoring, sensors, right? AI monitoring, okay? Sensors, AI and biometric. Biometric means the body, right? Or the study of the body, right? Life or the study of the body. Facial recognition, right? Cameras, right? You got flock cameras. You got all these things. I've been bringing up, I did numerous videos on flock cameras and all these things of that nature. AI drones, drones and so on and so forth. All right. It says facial recognition cameras, 5G, 6G, which is high frequencies of radiation, right? Which is going to cause a grievous sore, by the way. Okay. It says smart cities. What 15-minute smart cities? Surveillance, monitoring, analysis, reporting, and tracking, right? Cities. Okay. RFID chip, right? Which is going to be embedded into your right hand, right? And you got the and then you got the BCI, which is the brain computer interface, which is the Neuralink, synchronized, and so on and so forth. Many different companies that have these things, right? Enlarged into your forehead. You see, where they want to merge man with machine. You understand? The fourth and fifth industrial revolution, merging man with machine. Okay? You understand? IoT, Internet of Things, IOB, Internet of Body, robotics, you see, etc., to fully control the world. Now, let's get right into the scriptures. Let's get out of there. Right? So this is Revelation chapter 13, and let's read at verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, let's go here. Let's go to Revelation 2 and 10. First and foremost, let's go there, and then we'll go to 3 and 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. That's concentration camps, right? Where they have chipping centers. They're going to have guillotines. They're going to have shooting, firing squads, right? Torture rooms and so on and so forth. In order for you to be in compliance with this system, this beast system, right? It says, and it says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. Tried by what? That mark of the beast. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You see? Now let's go over to 3 and 10. Right? It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, right? To try them that dwell upon the earth. You see? Because this thing is going to come upon all the world. Everybody's going to be tried by this thing. Everybody's going to be tried by the MOTB. This is going to be the test. You see? All right? Let's get back into Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay? And let's go to the 16th verse. Let's go right to it. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Even those that are locked up are going to be chipped. You see? Who are in prison, you see? As a tracker, trace, and control everything, right? You see? Okay, they had a movie back in the day with Denzel Washington where he was to get out of prison, but they said they was gonna put a transmitted tracker location into the back of his head, right, which is by his brain. You see? And they did that in the movie, which was a small microchip. Okay? It says to receive a mark in their right hand. That word mark is charagma, right? Which is going to come by the charax, which is the needle that is going to be stuck in an incision right through your forefinger and your thumb. Okay? Which is a palisade. All right? It says in the right hand or in their foreheads, right? Is that no man might buy or sell. Buying and selling is transactional. You see? Blockchain technology. Okay? That's what all these things are going to go on to. It says, save he that have the mark, charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that haveth understanding count the number of the beast. Chi Sigma, right? 666. The universal product code is 666. You become the UPC. You become the track, trace, and control, right? You become the person that they're watching, all right? Through drones, through cameras, through everything of that nature. Every move you make will be tracked. Everything you buy will be tracked. Everything you do will be tracked, traced, and controlled. Okay? This is what we're telling you. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have the understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That's the number of imperfection. All right? So let's go over to Revelation 16 real quick. Revelation 16 and verse number 2. It says, And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword. That's coming from high frequencies of radiation, man. RF, radio frequency, EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. Okay? 6G is nothing but a high width of radiation, man. Okay? EMFs. All right? See? It says, fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Let's jump down to verse number 10. It says, And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed Yahweh, right, by Shem Yahweh of heaven, because of their pains and their sores, right? The sores is hell coast, right, which is an ulcer or pus. You see, right? And repented not for their deeds. See, and repented not for their deeds. All right? Now, you take that chip, Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to destroy you, man. Simple and plain. This is what we're telling you. You're going to be destroyed by ICBM intercontinental ballistic missiles and the concentrated fire from the chariots, man. It's just that simple and plain. You're going to die here in the lake of fire. All right? Which is ultimately by the missiles that are going to drop down from the outer heaven, from the outer atmosphere on this place, shot off by Esau, Edom's constituents, Russia, China, the NATO and the EU countries, right? You see? Let's read. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, righteous anger, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's those missiles. In the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints, and here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushua. So I have a few videos for you brothers to play. As you know, you got this guy who took that Neuralink chip into his head, and then I got another guy speaking on how and what is the setup and what is going on, as we've been speaking about and telling you about the system of the beast system. All right, he put a whole video together explaining the UN, the WEF, right, the ID2020, and everything of that nature. Now, I brought out a while back in videos about the ID2020 patent, right, which they try to say they ceased on. That's bullshit. They never ceased on that, all right? It's still continuing on. But I have a few videos that I want to show to you brothers and you few sisters out there who listen, but mainly to you brothers, because this is the things that's going on, all right? And I got another video about data centers and things of that nature. So I'll show you all in this video. But for now, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Marakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone and well. Peace and blessings and citations to the hopeful elect, the Bayat Dawadah, the house of David. Kwam Yasha Allah, Abad Babal, repent ye, for the kingdom of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is at hand. And I leave you with these videos. Shalom.
The patient is able to control a computer cursor with his mind.
Is it 27? Every series.
Initializing neural interface.
Do you have any side effects?
No, I don't have any side effects.
Do you have any?
I don't have any.
Can you feel it?
I can't feel it. Is it? I was able to do it and then I did it.
And how long did that take you?
That took me about a week.
And then you went home and...
I practiced at home.
And so what do you think the biggest benefit of this is?
The biggest benefit is that it's going to help people with spinal cord injuries and people with Parkinson's disease and people with epilepsy and people with depression, anxiety, and all these different things. I could still move the mouse with my mind.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I had. It's actually pretty cool.
Is it like a chip?
It's a small chip, yeah.
So I'm curious about the device itself, the actual, how long did it take you to get used to it?
It was a process, it took a few months to really get comfortable with it, but now it's just part of me, in my head.
Can you show us?
Can you show me where?
Right here. So the future is going to be amazing. We're going to be able to do so much more.
Are the entities and the forces behind digital ID. I've mapped it out. The top four are the UN, the WEF, the World Bank, and the ID 2020. Let me take you through it. So the first main culprit who kind of started a lot of this is the United Nations. They have sustainable development goals. And in 16.9, they state by 2030, they want to provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. These UN agencies want to frame digital ID as necessary to participate in the digital economy to access services. This is how they're going to lock you in. Now, the UN is working closely with the World Bank. The World Bank has a program called Identification for Development, or ID4D. This promotes biometric digital ID systems for low and middle income countries. They're always going to start with them because it's easier to get them to comply and to roll it out. And they'll gradually work their way up to the first world countries. The top donors of this program, the usual suspect, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the UK government, the French government, Norway, and the Ahmadiyar network. This was created by the eBay founder. They call it a philanthropy, but they have a goal to hardwire humanity toward a digital future. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? ID4D, it has a partnership with the United Nations and the WEF and the Euro Commission and the GSMA. This was an interesting one. It is the Global System for Mobile Communications. It is an association, a nonprofit, that represents mobile network providers' interests. It's a digital ID for your phone that'll eventually progress probably to a microchip that is implanted in you. Step one, get it on the phones, get you used to having a digital ID on your mobile phone. And so the GSMA is part of this whole partnership. Next, we come over to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. They are considered the main thought leader when it comes to digital ID. And the WEF sets the global agenda for the frameworks of what they roll out. Now, you can look through their white papers and the reports. I've listed them here if you want details. Now, one thing to note with the WEF, Larry Fink, it's probably a name you've heard of, especially when it comes to the Trump administration. He is a board member of the WEF, but he also happens to be the CEO of BlackRock. And he also is part of Trump's inner circle. Trump has aligned himself with the technocrats, the billionaires, the globalists. Trump will be part of rolling out the digital ID. He's not going to stop it. The last entity is ID2020. This is a US-based NGO alliance. It's a nonprofit. Okay, it was formed in 2014. Again, this goes back years and years and years in the planning. Their goal is to promote privacy-protecting digital ID that's aligned with the UN Strategic Development Goal. This ID 2020, this alliance, is a public-private partnership with all the major corporations. We're talking your big tech corporations, your big healthcare organizations, your big IT infrastructure organizations, your big financial institutions as well. I just listed out a few, but I wanted to highlight Microsoft, Accenture, Gavi Vaccine Alliance, and MasterCard. So out of ID 2020, Gavi and MasterCard, and Gavi is the Vaccine Alliance, they partnered to create a digital vaccine record to track children in underdeveloped countries. It uses MasterCard's technology. Gavi is the vaccine passport part of the digital ID. Gavi has an alliance with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the WHO, UNICEF, and World Bank, and others. Now, Gavi says clearly that digital ID innovation is central to its mission. Digital ID identification is central to the mission of a vaccine alliance. Let that sink in. The next partnership that came out of ID 2020 is Microsoft and Accenture, founding alliance partners of ID 2020. Together, they built a blockchain-based identity prototype using biometrics and blockchain to give undocumented people digital ID. And of course, there will be many more steps to come where all the infrastructure railways are aligned to connect everything you do, say, are, buy, sell, whatever, online, whatever is digital, it's all connected to you. But these are the four main players behind it: the UN, the World Bank, the WEF, and ID 2020. There's digital ID in the surveillance state. Here's what's happening right now to lay this infrastructure across the country and to bring us into a control grid. America is building data centers faster than almost anything in our history. It's unprecedented. We're told it's for AI, and that's true, but the same buildings that are powering your chatbot are becoming a nervous system for the surveillance state in order to track, record, and store and control your every single digital move. So everyone has a smartphone. I do too. I'm recording on one right now. But your smartphone leaks data all day long about you. Apps sell your location, your browsing history, your purchases to data brokers. So firms like LexisNexis hold tens of billions of records on nearly every single person in the country. You might think you never signed up for this, but the legal language was most likely buried in those terms of service agreements that you never actually read, but you click the accept button anyway. I get it, I'm guilty of that too. But here's the part that you really should pay attention to on how the government is circumventing our Fourth Amendment rights. So the government cannot legally demand that data without a warrant. So it circumvents the legal and legislative process by simply purchasing the large data sets from data brokers instead. So you got ICE, the FBI, the NSA, the IRS, they're all confirmed buying Americans' location and activity data from brokers. The FBI director admitted it under oath. It is a Fourth Amendment loophole, and right now it's still wide open. Now, all this data collected is typically scattered in one place or another. So scattered insider data is one thing, but the next move is merging it all together. I've talked about this before in my digital ID series. So the intelligence agencies are building a single portal to buy and combine all of our data into one place. Firms like Palantir are fusing all of our medical, financial, location, all of our digital records, etc., into one searchable profile of a single human being. This becomes your digital ID, not just a digital photo of your driver's license, but the searchable database of everything you are and you do digitally online becomes your digital ID. 25 states already require you to upload your license or scan your face just to use parts of the internet. Over 100 million Americans are projected to carry a digital ID this year. Is it convenient? Well, maybe, but at what cost? It links your real identity to your every single digital move. This is where control comes in. They can shut you down, they can shut you off if they don't like what you're doing. And so here's where data centers come back in. Storing and connecting all of this data takes staggering computing power. And that is what these buildings are for. And AI is the multiplier. The head of a leading AI company has warned that purchased data plus AI can assemble a complete profile of anyone's life automatically at massive scale. Now that was science fiction 10 years ago, but the infrastructure to do it is now being poured in concrete across the country. And the guardrails for this are not keeping up. A tool this powerful never stays aimed only at the bad guys. Ask your representatives one simple question. Where is the flippin' warrant?